Welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that part 1 video by PBS that showed you that you can calculate the curve of the Earth over a lake. So all you people that have shown in other comments on many videos that say you can't, well guess what? Stephen Hawking says you can. So listen to him, you can measure it over the lake. Anyway, let's go into some of the details of why I think they kind of screwed up. You'll notice many of the screenshots that I show is just taken from that video, and I just want to take a screenshot. You can go back and watch the video. Maybe I'll incorporate some videos into here. We'll see how this goes. But this video I just wanted to kind of show, or this screenshot is just kind of showing the heights of the people here. You know, he's down in the boat. The two ladies are up on the dock. This second, well, if it would go to the next page, this second picture is just kind of showing how tall these three people are. I'm guessing he's around 6 feet tall, right? Which is an important thing to note, how tall somebody is in this. If you've ever measured yourself, if you're around 6 feet tall, 5'8", somewhere in there, you're going to know that 2 feet is just above the knee. That is very important to remember here in this video later on. 2 feet is going to be somewhere in this area. 3 feet, somewhere in this area. I mean, you cut them in half, that's 3 feet. Okay, 3 feet, 3 feet. So somewhere in here is 2 feet. 3 feet somewhere around in here. So let's get into this. So she says, if you go back to the video, she says 31 inches is the height of their laser beam, which is great. I'm not saying anything bad about that. That's what she's saying, is 31 inches. If you notice, it's kind of, oh, it's above her thigh here. You can't really see her in the screen, but it's above her thigh, somewhere in her waist area, right? The next picture, and if you look, notice she says 2 foot 7 inches is what she says in the video, which is 31 inches.
They need a few tools.
2 feet 7 inches.
To me, that looks a little higher than 31 inches. I don't know about you, but you know, the other picture, it kind of looked like it was more in this area. I'm not going to really question it, but it's just kind of an anomaly that they really, I mean, it's a little bit higher than what, I mean, even she's on the dirt here, the beach, that's, you know, 5-6 inches above even the water level. And if you look at the tape measure here, you have this black box around the 32. So this is one you use to set studs out, 16, 32, 48, these black boxes around on that. So if you zoom in, it's hard to tell. I'm speculating this is around 16 inches. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So 16, 32, they're up around 40-something inches is where they're taking this one. And remember, this laser has to be perfectly level, absolutely perfectly level in order for this to work. If it's off by an inch or two, yeah, 3 miles, it's going to be off by 6 feet. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just speculating. Let's just say it is perfectly level, okay? And not doubt that. Well, what they should have done, which they didn't do when they went out 500 feet and took the first reading, I'm just showing that they're driving out in the water, seeing the laser beam here coming across. So you have the water, this is the yellow line, this is the surface of the lake. Their beam is 2 feet up. Well, not 2 feet up, 31 inches up, and goes straight across, right? So at 500 feet, what they really should have done is measured from here down to the water to make sure they're actually getting a level laser beam. I didn't see that done. Maybe they did it, they didn't show it. And I'm kind of questioning that now, that, well, you should have shown this. Is this really 31 inches? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Couldn't tell you. But in any event, they go on to say, okay, after 3 miles, this big dot now is 2 foot beam that is clear up here, and so they took the reading here, and then they took the reading here, and that's a difference of 6 feet. Which I'm not doubting. Okay, if you come here and say 3 miles, this is the Earth curve calculator. Eye height is 0, target distance 3 miles, calculate 6 feet. Okay, I'm not going to deny that. They did that perfectly right. It's a 6 foot difference. Okay? Now, if we come back and keep going on our pictures, what do they do next? They show the boat going down the curve of the Earth, and it's 6 feet. Okay? But then they want to go further. They want to say, oh, this is further than 6, or we want to go 6 miles now so that we can get another distance marker. And so what they do, they get a giant telescope to look across the lake. And they put this, they kind of dig it down to make it level, which is what they need to look across the lake level. And one thing to note, if you listen to it, there's just a lot of different things in there. But one thing they say is they're going to go to Pyramid Rock.
We're flying to Pyramid Rock. Do you copy that?
I copy that. You are flying to the pyramid.
Pyramid, if you're anything into looking a lot of Illuminati, things like that, pyramid, they're going to go to the top of Pyramid Rock. Okay. Correlation there? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, here's the telescope. Above the water, look across the water, right? So here's just a couple of pictures. Now again, remember, your knee is about 2 feet tall. So they're looking across this lake somewhere in here. And so what do they need? They need a helicopter because they can't see. It's going to go down below the curve of the earth, and so they need to have something that will be able to raise up high enough for them to see this drop, right? So they get this helicopter. Notice I have got this light there so you can see the proportion of the helicopter, which is very interesting, I found. What I have found as well, doing my own observations. The object at a distance, what happens to it at a distance. So here it still looks normal, right? They're just barely taken off, flying over there. Now they're looking through the telescope, and you see, here's where the blades would be. Here again is the light underneath the bottom of the chopper. It still looks fairly normal, right? Normal picture. Now they're looking out 6 miles. Now he's just going to drop straight down into the water, not into the water, land on the ground, but go underneath the curve of the earth. So here they're dropping down still. What I think is interesting is how tall does this helicopter now look? The length looks still pretty normal, but the height, it's like it's been squished. So when you're looking across something at a long distance, especially over a lake or a surface, you got to remember this is now this is the same height as this here, but how much is it taking up in the telescope? It's squished very much. So you're seeing this squishing effect of the object. So you're seeing a full 12, 10, 6, whatever foot object you're looking at. I don't know how tall a helicopter is. If we go back to these pictures, I don't know, is that helicopter from here up to there 8, 10, 12 feet? Somewhere in there? I don't know. It's obviously higher than 3 feet. But then when you look at that picture compared to that picture, it is definitely squished. Even though I'm seeing the same amount of stuff, it's taking up less space. Okay? So now they drop down below this horizon, and they show that in video. Go back and watch it.
As it lands, it completely disappears from my line of sight. Joey, are you still airborne?
Yeah. Can you see us landing?
And then they come back up, right? Which is interesting to me is they drop down over here. You'll notice they come up over here. Sorry. See this big yellow patch? There's the bushes behind. Right here, yellow patch. Anyway, not a big deal. But again, they're coming up, and now he says, "Oh, I can see you. Stop. What's your elevation?"
I got him. Okay, what's your elevation right now?
All right, Brian, how many feet are we above the lake?
24 feet.
Woo! We made it! 24 feet.
24 feet, awesome.
And what does the chopper guy say? He says, "Oh, 24 feet." Which, if you come over to this Earth curve calculator and say 6 miles, 0 height, 24 feet. It matches, right? Remember that 2-foot knee on that guy? If we go back here, how tall is this telescope off the water? Is it right at water level? Is it at 0? No, it is at least 2 feet. It is at least 2 feet. I'm going to say 2.5 to 3, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and just say 2, okay? So we come back here and say 24 feet. Well, wait a minute. What if our eye height is now at 2 feet? Calculate. It's now 12. So, in reality, he should have stopped the helicopter dude and said, hey, I can see you at 12 feet, not 24. That is a huge, huge difference. That's double. Because you've got to take in consideration the eye height of your observation point first. They didn't. And that's what I'm saying, they screwed up right here. This should be 12 feet because they are 2 feet. If we go back to this other laser shot, they're 2 feet above the water. I understand this laser, maybe they weren't in the same spot as the telescope, but you can clearly see this telescope is not right at 0, right at the water. It is clearly at least 2 feet above the water level. And that's why I'm saying 2 feet equals 12, not the 24 that they say it is. So I may be calling out Stephen Hawking here and saying, Stephen, you screwed up. I'm sorry, you're supposed to be the brightest man on the earth. You forgot something here. You forgot to take into account the height of a telescope, but you told us this 24 feet. That tells me right there, this isn't a real experiment. You didn't do it real. If you did it for real, and you took any Joe Schmo off the street, you took these 3 people off the street and said, you come do this, and do it for real, he should have seen you at 12 feet. Seen the helicopter at 12 feet. That didn't happen. Anyway, go back and watch the videos. Go back and watch the videos. See for yourself. See what they're doing. They're telling you you should be able to see this curve of the earth. And they said it's 24-foot drop, when in reality it should be 12. Seems fishy to me. And this is my, I'm going to end here, right here. This is my, well, I'm not going to end here yet. This is one of my favorite quotes here.
I still have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that we measured the Earth at that lake.
I'll never look at a lake the same way. I'll never look at a big body of water the same way now that I know it's following the curvature of the Earth.
Now that she knows it's following the curvature of the Earth. Pretty interesting, don't you think? So one last thing I'm going to bring up, I find very, very interesting, is they saw it at 6 miles. They could see this 24-foot drop. I took these 2 pictures July 3rd. I don't know if you've seen any of my very first video that says it's a globe, that I have now retracted my belief. But you see this building out here. This picture was not taken last year. This was actually taken July 3rd in the morning. And again, you can see this building. And I'm going to go into more detail on this in part 3, so stay tuned for that coming up. Hopefully I'll get that up very soon. But this building here, you can see, okay, if I'm 6 miles away, I'm 2 feet up. I'm looking across, I'm actually 6.89 or whatever miles away, so this kind of matches what I should actually see if the Earth was a ball. This is what I should see. I should see it blocking, you know, wherever my horizon is, the water, and then reflecting off. You get this mirage effect, blocking the building, and I only see part of the building. Okay? But what's interesting is that same day, maybe an hour later, I'll have to look and see what time it was, but I then took this image here. And what do I see? We can go back on Google Earth, and like I said, part 3, I'm going to go into more detail on this. Now what do I see? This is taken from the very same location, same telescope, same iPhone, same spot, just an hour later. And what do I see? I can see the dike in front of the building. I can see the building. I can see this portion here, the entire building, the roof. I'm not supposed to be able to see this if the Earth is a ball, right? Food for thought. Anyway, watch part 3. I will go more into detail on these 2 pictures in part 3. Don't miss it.